Good morning. This is going to be our first part of 3 of navigating the new portal system. In this first part, we're going to focus in on logging into the new portal, assigning personnel that works at your location, individual login procedures. As you're going to see, the login page does look differently. It's going to have 4 entries that you're going to need to utilize. The one I'll be using today is in the sandbox as a demonstration. Your dealer ID and your user ID will be emailed to you so that you can log in originally. The company ID is in capital letters. It's MARI 677, and that'll be present on every login. Once you hit the login button here, you're going to get a one-time password that's going to be sent to your email. This is to be utilized only once and can be deleted and forgotten after that. It usually takes just a few seconds for it to come up. It'll be a numeric password, and you'll simply paste it in there and then continue the login process. Once you are in the system, you're going to come over to the left-hand side and work down to your Setup tab. You'll see a drop-down for dealer and a secondary drop-down for dealer. This will bring up your company name and address. And then you'll come over to the right-hand side and you're going to be able to see this little guy here. You're going to click on him and it's going to bring up all the authorized users for your portal system. Nice thing about this is if some folks decide to leave for other opportunities, you can disable their account and then they'll no longer have access to the system. So it's a great upgrade that way. For adding a new user, you'll have your dealer user list up here with a plus sign. We're going to simply create a new user. You do have the ability to assign one admin role besides yourself, because you will be considered the admin as the account owner. And then everybody else should be listed as a sales associate. Admins will have the ability to come in and make changes to this system, add and delete new employees. So you want to be very cautious about adding in somebody as an admin. If you want to retain control, simply select dealer sales. So just to make this easy, we're just going to pick out some random names. So we got Tom Rice as a new employee. I recommend user IDs to be very simple. So T Rice. And then you'll be using their phone number. And then an email that they can access while they're at work. This is going to be part of that one-time passcode that we saw when we first logged in, so they will need to have access to that. We're going to be focusing in on all the areas with a star to make sure that those have been completed. Please disregard these 2 checkboxes. We don't need to work on those. Finding your time zone, just type in East or Central Time, depending upon where you are, and it'll bring that up quickly. Obviously, the current state that you're working out of. And then the landing page, I always recommend to start where you can see all your applications. Last, your application landing page should be your summary page where you can review your approvals. All right, so if you have everything entered in here as seen, you're going to see the Save button highlight here at the bottom. If for some reason you did not select something up top, that will not highlight. Simply hit Save. And now you're going to see we have Tom Rice listed as a new user. Now, Tom is going to receive 2 emails. First email is going to have his user ID, and the second email is going to have his passcode. And then that way, that gentleman will have individual access to log into the portal without any additional assistance. So the emails that come over will look like this. It's going to be coming from Decision Lender for a new username. And it's going to provide the login credentials, the dealer ID, and the username. Now, in my case, this is my sandbox. So the dealer ID would be your company-specific ID. So you'll see that later. And then the secondary one that they'll have is their temporary password. We always recommend that you just highlight that because it is a multi-character figure password, so that when they do go in to log into the system, they'll have an easy time of copying and pasting. So in this scenario, we're going to go ahead and log out. And as you can see, you logged out, you only have 3 squares. That is when you're going to go down to login as dealer. You always want to make sure you're logging in as dealer and you have those 4. So now that we know that we have Tom Rice, have his temporary password, we'll go ahead and log in. And as you can see, now Tom has gotten a one-time password sent to him. Bear with me while that comes over. There is his one-time numeric passcode, and then we can delete that. And Tom is going to be in the system. This will be his opportunity to come in and change that password. Now keep in mind, this is the password that was the long, crazy numbers, letters, and characters, not the temporary password. That's just temporary and it's only used one time. Now, of course, it does give you all the requirements to create a password. I generally suggest that you make it a very simple and easy password to update. For us, I'm going to be using Mariner Finance 1 with an exclamation point. The reason I choose this, and you can choose it however you'd like to set up your password, but you can change that 1 to a 2 once that 90-day expiration period comes and it asks you to renew it, and then you can change it to a 2, then you can change it to a 3. So just having that one numeric change can make life a little easier as those changes do come through and remembering that password. Then once you hit save, now your team member is able to access the account under their own login and password credentials. Again, we'll be having live training over the coming weeks for any further questions about that, but that's just the first part of getting into the system and setting up team members for your locations if necessary.